Well, hello there. This is COVID video number 6. At this point, you've probably heard of the coronavirus. Yeah, hey, have you heard of this thing called the coronavirus? I wanted to give you some rationale behind what Hope Chapel is doing and why. On the positive side of everything, there's a lot of people out there that like to have connection with their fellow man, but they don't always know what to say. So now we at least all have something to talk about. It's like the weather. Yeah, it's apparently some kind of a virus. But on the not very positive side, there's a lot of issues surrounding it, concerns, safety. And so here's the thing. Gino and I are pastors, and our training is in pastoral stuff and a few other things, but not virology. Yeah, I've been checking it out on Facebook all morning. I'm pretty much a virologist at this point. It's amazing how much you can learn from memes, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? The question comes down to, like, what do you do if you're a shepherd in a flock? And there's people in your own government and experts around you saying really intense things about what a virus can do, and then your expertise is in, biblical languages, scripture, pastoral care, etc. So here's kind of the mindset behind the scenes of conversations with the staff and Gino and the board. Actually, it's kind of funny. Was it 4 weeks ago? Gino asked the staff, "Hey, should we talk about this from the pulpit?" And several other staff members and I were like, "Why?" So I guess credit where credit's due, Gino. Good job. So the issue is, what do we do when our municipal leaders are saying, hey, because at the first weekend we did something different. They said, hey, don't do gatherings of 250 or more. And, that's right around the size of our church. And so we said, all right, we're still going to do services, but you stay home and we're going to broadcast it to you so you don't have to come to the building. And then only a couple days after that, they were like, hey, limit it to 10. And then we were thinking, oh, goodness, that's basically the worship band. It's 10 people. So then we said, okay, don't come. And we're just going to live stream everything, which we feel really fortunate that we've already been heading towards having a technological base for folks who are out of town or if they're sick. We always want the main thing to be in person and physical. Like an actual literal gathering of the saints. But there are always going to be people who can't come for health reasons. They're shut in for whatever reason. And now it looks like we're all shut in. So, but what's the thing? I'm going to tell you, behind the scenes, Gino and the board and I aren't panicking. There's no panic. There's not even a question of what I want to do versus what the government's telling us to do. The question has always been, what do we feel like is the right thing to do for our people? And I think that's probably the way to go. So considering the fact that we're not virologists, that's a word, right? Virologists? Yeah, I learned a lot about. Also, I'm pretty much a pandemic expert. I think it's called pandemicologist. I'm a panda psychologist. Pretty much a panda psychologist here. So we're pastoral care people, and we want to make sure that we do what's right by our people. And so there's two extremes. This is really, really dangerous extreme. Then there's this is way not as dangerous as people are saying extreme. And that's what we're praying for. Then there's also largely two reactions. One is be super cooperative, and then another is to not be very cooperative and just do whatever you want. So how do they all pair together? Let's say it's as bad as everybody says it is, and we cooperate. Good, glad we cooperated. Let's say it's as bad as everybody says it is, and we don't cooperate. That would be rough to think about how maybe we contributed to the spread of a virus that kills some of our own members who are immunocompromised. Now, then there's the other situation. Let's say it's not nearly as bad as they're saying it is, and we cooperate. What's the cost to that? It's hard to measure. For this instance, it would be loneliness, maybe some jobs, increased skill with technology. So that one's not negative. But let's say it's I think I did all the scenarios. Oh my goodness. I didn't keep track. So I did the dangerous, both and then the not dangerous, and we didn't cooperate. Oh, I didn't do that one. So let's say it's not dangerous and we didn't cooperate. Well, we'd feel like we made a good call, and maybe you would think no harm, no foul, no... I'm messing up on my idioms here. Maybe you'd think, it's not a big deal. But here's the thing, though. We in the pastoral care industry are not panda psychologists. We're not pandemic experts, and so we don't want to make an error that might cause serious harm or injury to our people. So it's not a spirit of fear, and it's not even necessarily this is what we want versus what the government's telling us to do, and that's why we have to do it. It is very much a sincere care for our people in light of the fact that we're not exactly sure what's happening. We know there's experts saying things on the interwebs. Governmental people who know experts are saying things on the interwebs. And, I don't think we've ever pastored through a pandemic before. I don't know if you've ever been a part of a pandemic before. And so, sure, dispositionally, we want to be respectful to our leaders. And I think there's scripture for that. But also at the same time, if they're being sincere and they're telling the truth and these numbers aren't lying, then like, why would you put your people at risk? So it's not necessarily panic. It's not necessarily a spirit of fear. It's about wisdom. And it's not even necessarily you have to obey your government in all things kind of mindset. It's definitely hey, we don't necessarily trust the Chinese government. A lot of governments are saying, though, that this could be a problem, and it is a problem already. And if it comes to the United States in full force, then it's going to be a huge problem for us too. And so it's a cautionary wisdom thing. Now, look, to be honest with you, it's a little weird how much life has changed so quickly. And I would be just as conspiratorial as the next fellow if the government decides that, hey, this is a thing we're going to do every 5 years. But for now, as far as I know, this is the only time it's happened in my lifetime, and I imagine there's a good chance that they won't resort to this every 5 years. Now, that is yet to be determined. So are all the statistics that are going to come out from the American medical people, testings and all that stuff. So that's all still coming out. And we can evaluate in hindsight with better vision. In situations, though, where you're trying to shepherd a large group of people, and you aren't sure, and the possibilities can be very dangerous, then yeah, you want to err on the side of wisdom and caution for your people out of love and care, not necessarily like based on spectrums of how to respond to government and to what extent I, as a pastor, am a virologist. By the way, if you are a priest or a rector or a pastor or something and a virologist, that'd be really interesting. If you ever see this video, which you probably won't, make sure to leave a comment or a response video. Like and subscribe. Also, subscribe. So anyway, that is it. That's pretty much the only kind of discussion we're having behind the scenes. If you were curious about what discussions are like at Hope Chapel, it's care for our people, trying to do the right thing for them, and praying that it's not as bad as it could be. That's it. If you were curious about what our conversations have been like at a staff level, that's why we've done what we've done. Just to my understanding, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.